the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Good morning, Sinkers and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge for Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. I am Devonne, Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me in the program today. Over the past few days, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and other parliamentarians were in the National Assembly for the 2024 budget address. And so, of course, we could not bring this program live. However, the budget debate wrapped up on Tuesday, and I am here now to give you some, or to break down some of the information that came out of the budget address. Joining me in the program today is Mr. Austin Edinburgh, advisor in the Prime Minister's office. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning,
welcome
Devon.
back to the program.
Oh yes, good morning, and I'm happy to be back. Well, we did say we'll be back, but never can tell how soon.
Right.
I'm happy to be here again. The last time I was here, I think it was a precursor.
Yes.
To the budget.
Yes.
Now we would be looking into a few things. I did say at that time, I did promise something special.
Mm-hmm.
Something special was delivered broad-based. Mm-hmm. But I want to say I was specifically speaking about the initiative for the children. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that. But I want to, Devon, start at where the budget wrapped up.
Okay.
And including it some discussions from the opposition side. Mm-hmm. The first issue I want to deal with is the uncouthness of Dr. Timothy Harris. The disrespect and disregard he showed for the budget presentation. That is the first reading. He did not show up. The following day would have been the rebuttal from the leader of the opposition. He did not show up. As a matter of fact, he did not show up at the budget debate until Monday, when he was going to make a presentation. And then when he ran out of time, he asked for time. And not the speaker, because people might believe it's a speaker. The speaker don't give time, and she can't say no to time. She counts the time. And when your time is up, she advises you. If you request time, then it is the parliamentarians, the parliamentary colleagues, who would grant you or not grant you. And what happened in that case is that because of his disrespect and disregard for the others, and he did not show up to hear anybody else other than when he was going to present, the parliamentarians who were present decided not to grant him time. Has nothing to do with the speaker, and it's not against the procedure.
So it's based on the standing orders.
Yes. And again, I want to say that the Prime Minister alluded to it in his closing remarks. It was disrespectful, especially for the opening. The last debate, parliamentary debate that he gave, the leader of the opposition, I'm not sure, was there, which was Dr. Douglas at the time. That was, I think, the one at the Marriott. But that aside, we're having a brand new Prime Minister. He was there for the first one at the Marriott Hotel. And irrespective to what some of the people might have said, because people were still in the height of politics, and yes, you know, when he came in, there was some disrespect. I hated myself, and the Prime Minister condemned it, and so did the Speaker. And so that is why I'm saying he ought to have shown up. And it was as a result of that that the parliamentarians who were there decided, no, you didn't have enough respect for any of us, and so we're not going to give you extra time. All right. Now, I also want to go to something that was said by Dr. Harris and by Sean K. Richards.
Okay.
Talking about crime and talking about peace program. I don't think it's coincidental, and let me mark my word carefully. I don't think it is coincidental that after their presentation, there was a homicide on Monday night. And this is why I'm saying that. Their utterances dealing with impressionable and vulnerable minds, giving them the impression that they ought to be involved in some corrupt program, and as that program is now being replaced, could have triggered something and caused a reaction. That's how I feel. I'm saying it is not, in my opinion, coincidental. Because at no time did they consider that the program is now being replaced by another program. And if this administration has a problem with it, then they have a right to replace it with something else. What we are providing under the Elevate is better opportunities. As a matter of fact, in January, there will be a Better Opportunity Summit.
As part of this program?
It's all of it is inclusive.
Okay.
But there will be a Better Opportunity Summit. And that's what this administration is about, providing better opportunities. The data is there to show that when you provide better opportunities, you get a better result in terms of crime fighting. I want to go to something else that was mentioned. A term used by the forensic auditors in development, with the development matter. A term called untracked cash wages totaling $22+ million. Untracked cash wages. And the mere fact that they said untracked, it means that they have no data. They couldn't follow it.
But they know it's not there.
It is not there.
Okay.
And there would have been some utterances in the data about wages. And that is why they said untracked cash wages. That means the names are like ghosts. There are no names. That's why it can't be tracked. There might just be a note say wages, but no name. And without a name, you can't track it. And when you're going to give the impression that such a program is what the at-risk youths should be involved with, and this government is saying, no, we want accountability, then such utterances can trigger a mind that is challenged, that is vulnerable, and who can be easily persuaded. It triggers things. You just follow the psychological reports around the world and they will tell you that a lot of things said, not intended to do certain things, cause it just by the mere words. But the budget in itself, Devonne, is a historic, transitional, transformational, revolutionary budget. It's the best budget presentation we've ever had in St. Kitts and Nevis, in my opinion, and I say that because it addressed the very young citizens. It's the first budget presentation in St. Kitts where the very young citizens, not yet in a position to work and earn so they can be paying taxes, but it's the first time that they were taken into the equation and provided with a tangible benefit. I spoke the last time I was here about wealth building. I said that we need to stop bequeathing to or passing on, for those who to our generations yet unborn, only generational trauma, generational stress, generational poverty, and generational debt. And we need also to pass on generational wealth, and in fact more of that than the former. And that is what this budget has done. It has set the framework. And for those who may want to have anything negative to say about the initiative for the children, it is not yet operationalized. And the Prime Minister, in closing, indicated that there is a committee, and the committee still stands, that is going to operationalize it. That is going to give the government recommendation on the best practices for such finance. There are recommendations that's coming in, and they are good recommendations so far. And so I am convinced that the best will happen, because the Prime Minister wants the best for the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, especially the young citizens. I also want to say that I know that he's passionate about this, because there are three things that has been achieved thus far by this administration in less than 2 years that him and I spoke about as a legacy matters before he became the leader of the party. One of them was to give women the highest office to look up to, not just by the woman who is there, but the women of St. Kitts and Nevis could feel proud that while they have not yet attained the highest political office, they have been able to sit as the head of state.
Right.
And so the appointment of the first woman Governor General in St. Kitts was one of those legacy things that him and I discussed even before he became the leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. The other thing was, how could the people directly benefit from the CBI in some way? And that has materialized and matured to be a dividend. And I remembered when we were discussing, and he, as a matter of fact, he brought this one in, with some force and vigor about the children. How do we change? How do we break the cycle of poverty? How do we begin with our children? How do we turn our children from being just employees, living a life of servitude, to be producers? And this is what this initiative is about, where you provide them with a savings and also the ability to purchase shares. Because when you purchase share in a company, you're part owner. And so you become a producer, you become an employer. And that must do something to your mind positively. And so I'm so proud to be associated in some small way with this budget. I'm so proud, apart from the fact that it has created some excitement. Now, the last time we were here, we spoke about whether or not there would be a double salary. And again, I was not going to say anything.
Understandably so.
But what came out was that civil servants got an increase. Now, what they, again, and let me just say, the GAE workers, for the first time, would start being pensionable. The government workers, the civil servants, had a pension plan that was non-contributory. It would now be contributory. And so it behoves a person like the Prime Minister to ensure that they don't go home with less than they were going home with in this year.
Hence the reason for the salary increase.
Hence the salary increase.
Okay.
But you could have given us 3%, which would make them equal. You could have given us 5%, which would make them 2% better off. And I would say this, from several institutions, that is what was recommended. 5%. But for the Prime Minister, 5% is really what they should take home.
And that 3%
That's how you feel.
Would go towards the
Exactly.
plan.
And so 8% increase was provided. So they got the 8% increase, civil servants, and then there was a workers' bonus. A workers' bonus that has two categories. Government workers, civil servants, 50% bonus on their salary. And the working public that doesn't work, and I would think pensioners as well, that doesn't work for government,
Right.
they would get a $500 bonus.
Now, there were some questions people were asking if there's a difference between the 500 workers bonus and the 500 CBI and $250 CBI.
Oh, you're talking about the CBI dividend.
Yeah.
No dividend was paid this year. Because if you paid a dividend, you would have to pay everybody,
So,
including persons who are living abroad.
right. So a dividend. Okay, so according to the announcements made by the Prime Minister,
Yes.
there's a $500 workers bonus.
Workers' bonus.
Which is basically similar to the $1,000 bonus received in September. Correct.
Yes.
And the $250 or 500 CBI dividend
That wasn't paid this year.
that wasn't paid. Is it going to be paid
No,
this year?
it's not going to be paid this year.
Okay.
Because what you, as you realize, some would have been, getting 250, some would have been getting 500, and it would have been a dividend, and then other persons who would have gotten their bonus, their 50% bonus would have gotten that. The decision that the cabinet took, having regards for everything, having looked at the savings, that's why the decision was made at the time it was made, having looked at the government's accounts, and with the most recent information, decided on a 50% workers' bonus for the civil servants and government workers, and a $500 workers' bonus for the rest of the working population that doesn't work for government.
Okay. So basically, a civil servant, they get their increase with the 8%. And those who are not employed by the government, the $500 workers' bonus.
Yes.
Got you.
Now, again, those from the opposition, including Dr. Harris, Sean Richards, had some concern, and people accustomed to their double salary and so forth. Yes. So if it was the previous administration, all they would have gotten, all they might have gotten, and I have to say, and if I listened to him, he probably would have paid it, would have been a double salary. That's all would have been in the economy at this time. A double salary.
Just a double salary.
And that would have had to run from the start of 2023 until now. So he would have been making up all of the hardships with just a double salary. But for this year, same 2023, here's the new money that was put into the hands of the people. They got a dividend of $500 and $250 in June. That would not have been in the economy. That would not have been given to anybody under the previous administration. Then there was a cash bonus, a cash gift of $1,000 for independence. That makes an average of, let's say, $1,350, because some got $250 and some got $500. So let us say $1,350.
Yes. Yeah.
An average. So you're talking about an average of so far $1,350
for each registered. Yeah.
And then there is also a bonus of $500 to non-government workers. None of that would have been in the economy. And so a government is an employer, and yes, it has to be a model employer, and so it gave a bonus. But the government and administration also looks after all of the people. And so they honored that responsibility as no other government has done in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I want to say to some civil servants whose minds were swayed by what was said, look carefully at the benefits that you have gotten. And look at your fellow men. Let us stop talking about what other people got and how and they're doing better than you because they got this and you get this and they're still gonna get an increase next year like you're gonna get one. Let us stop doing that and realize that in an economy it takes each of us to assist the other person if we're to carry the economy. And so that is why private sector always look for something coming from the government, some infusion into the economy, because they benefit from it. And I think that we should begin to think like that, and I'm proud of this government in what it has delivered.
Mr. Edinburgh, it is 11:31. We'll have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
At ZIZ, we want to take a moment to salute our small business owners and encourage you to support them. Our small business owners are always hard at work providing quality goods and services to you. They also provide employment for many and can be counted on to give back to our communities. Today and every day, we salute our small business owners and we say thank you for the opportunity to provide advertising services to you. If you're a small business, call us at 465-2621 to join our family of small business advertisers. Call us 465-2621. You'll be glad you did.
Farm care, that's my place. For all my pharmaceuticals, for my health care. Farm care, check them on 4th Street. They're the best I know, that's the only place to go.
And visit our Birdwalk branch at the Rams Shopping Complex for added convenience. Go online at farmcarerx.kn or facebook.com/farmcare to browse house brands such as Quality Choice and Puritan's Pride. Get health tips, learn about sales specials and much more. Farm Care, for your wellness, comfort and privacy.
Get wrapped with Sharp TDC. Get wrapped in the convenience, get wrapped and you will see. Get wrapped with Sharp TDC. Easy and secure checkout, pick up or delivery. Over 20,000 products to choose from. Shop all day and all night long. Whatever you're looking for, you can find in an online store. Unwrap, deals every day. It's magical, it's Christmas, get carried away. Get wrapped with Sharp TDC. Make your wish list and send to your friends and family.
Get wrapped with Sharp TDC. Shop anywhere, shop anytime. Shop TDC Group this Christmas.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius and you are listening to The Edge. Joining me today is Mr. Austin Edinburgh, advisor in the Prime Minister's office. Thank you so much for joining me in the program, Mr. Edinburgh. Let's continue the conversation and we're hoping to open the phone lines very soon to take some calls.
Yeah, Devon, before we go to break, we were speaking about what new money was in the economy as a result of a new administration, and that had it been a previous administration, it would have been just a double salary at this time. And as a matter of fact, there would have been much more to have to plug for, from earlier in the year with that double salary. And I'm convinced that it would not have gone as far because, more people, there are other persons in a household, and that is a thing that people are not really recognizing. You may be working for government and you feel you want it. I would have been better if it was a double salary. And I'm not going to pretend that some persons are not that way.
Yeah, people are saying that.
But here's this: you have a child still in the household who is not working for government. I would have got nothing, but they're going to get something. You may have two or three. And so people don't look at the accumulative effect. We are too selfish, we are too self-centered, and that affects our ability to not only see the good but utilize what we can utilize.
There are civil servants who argue that they should have received a double salary because now there are private sector companies who have offered a double salary to their employees. And so they are of the opinion that the $500 bonus should have been given to them.
I know that is their big argument.
Yeah, so
okay, because they're saying that they're now, they're better off than us because they're getting a double salary.
Yeah.
People will determine the size of the benefit. And I'll tell you something. All they have is the company. And so they only have responsibility for the employees. An administration has responsibility for its employees,
citizens,
and it has responsibility for the rest of the citizens.
Okay.
And so, at this time, maybe if there wasn't this still harsh recovery that is happening from COVID, then the Prime Minister, but in time, they would see it. Because there's nobody, and look at that. And some of them would have children who are under 18. They wouldn't have gotten that start. And I like to compare this to Social Security, because it's what could be done with it. And I'm not saying that is what would be done. But Social Security, had Social Security depend solely on the contributions and done nothing with it to improve on it, Social Security would have been barely solvent. Perhaps it might not have been. It might have just been able to pay its employees,
and that's it.
And having a hard time paying benefits. And so the formula that was used in Social Security was that you use this money to invest, to earn. That's a possibility. All of those things are possible with interest. Safe, mind you. Safe investments is one of the things, because, and it's not, the government would not administer it. The government gave the initial gift. Parents as well, and guardians, can match what the government has put in to assist their children, because it's all over children. I intend to do something for my grandchildren, where that is concerned, to match the government, and for just to ensure that the parents don't think that I will do it and they don't. I intend to bring us all together and say, okay, I'll put 50%, the two of you put 25% each, and let's match the government. We need to begin to do these kinds of things.
I know you mentioned that but there's a committee that we put in place to basically develop the structure.
Put the structure to the whole thing, and the ECCB is involved. The ECCB is involved in this company. So
in
this committee, sorry.
The committee, yeah. So this committee will be put in place to ensure to develop the structure for this program. As I mentioned to you in our previous conversation, there were questions about in terms of how would it function, how would it work. That would come from the committee.
Yes, well, there are some basic rules that's in the plan itself. And by the way, there will be financial education as a part of the plan.
Okay.
And the financial education would not just be for the children. It would also be geared at the parents. Now, the $1,000 initial, and who knows, things improve in the economy, the government may sometime later add to that. But I'm just saying, so that $1,000 is there. $500 is allocated for savings. $500 out of it is allocated to buying shares. And so, as the shares become available, because we're going to start in the government corporations, as the shares become available, a structure would be put in place as to how these shares are purchased and so forth. And so, there's a committee, and, we need to give them some time. And like I said, the fact that representation on that committee comes from the ECCB, I have more faith. Because, they're responsible for monetary policy.
Right.
And they're going to be as strident and astute as they can be in ensuring that what they are asking of the government is applied to this. And so I feel very strong. It's just a matter for me, for us to as a citizenry to contribute in terms of not just funds now, I'm talking about in terms of our own ideas, because it's our children, it's our future. And I want to say this, 18 years from now, but let's start at 13 years, because it's 5, and some of them who are 5 will be 18 in 13 years' time. These children, the vast majority of them, would remember and thank this Prime Minister, Dr. Terence True, for initiating this, for leading on this. And I want to give some kudos to the Cabinet as well. Because while the Prime Minister has the lead, and he's the Prime Minister, by law, by Constitution, we have a Cabinet. And if Cabinet doesn't give you the blessings, even if it is your idea, it doesn't go any further.
Right.
And they deserve as well their praises for ensuring that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration has put such a program in place.
Mr. Edinburgh, I want you to clarify something for me before we go to the phone lines.
Yes.
There is a conversation happening right now regarding the same 8% increase.
Yes.
Where civil servants who are paid by the Nevis Island administration are suggesting that they should be getting a 13% salary increase come January. Remember, the Premier announced that civil servants in Nevis will get 555, which is 15. January coming is going to be the last 5. So they are of the view that they are going to get the 5 from the Premier in addition to the 8 from the Prime Minister.
Let me make it abundant.
Clarify that,
let me make it
please.
Based on my knowledge.
Okay.
Based on my knowledge. Any civil servant who work under the Nevis Island administration, their salaries are controlled by the Nevis Island administration. Civil servants who work federally but are stationed in Nevis, it is controlled from the federal budget.
So that's police officers,
Yes.
firefighters.
And so they would not have gotten the 5% that was announced for Nevis. Hence, those who fall under the Nevis island government can't be expecting that the federal budget will suffice, would also pay them an 8%. It is just not logical. Maybe political for them. They could make a political argument. All I'm going to say to you, because I don't get into their politics, that they're civil servants that work for the Nevis Island administration, and they're civil servants that work for the St. Kitts Nevis government. They're both paid from different accounts.
Okay. So nobody should be expecting a 13%.
A double dip? Well, you know what would happen? Because then civil servants down here going to decide that the Nevis Island administration must give them the 5 to,
Yeah.
But I heard the conversation. I was not going to raise it, but I heard the discussion.
I wanted to raise it because I wanted to get a better understanding, and I wanted people to also get a better understanding. So nobody is getting 13%. You either get the 5 or the 8, depending on where you work or who pays you.
Yes,
basically.
Because I mean they got 15 overtime, and the
the 5 coming in the 15.
Yeah, but I'm saying the civil servants in St. Kitts didn't get that, and the police who are stationed in Nevis didn't get that, and the fire officers who are stationed in Nevis didn't get that because they're not paid by the Nevis Island administration. So, but interesting world, you know. Interesting world.
It's 11:47. We want to open the phone lines and take some calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls, any questions you may have. This is the time now to pose those questions. We have up until noon here on the program. We have our first call for the morning.
Morning.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. If a pensioner already got their pension on the 15th and they got a full pension, what benefit are they going to get on the 21st?
The bonus. You're talking about the bonus?
Yes, yeah.
Once the bonus is also payable to government pensioners. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, government pensioner.
Once it applies, the money will go to the account. 50% of it.
Oh, so 50% will go to the account.
Yes.
On the 21st.
Yes. Once the bonus applies to government pensioners, it will go to your account.
What about the 500 CBI? Would they be getting it?
No. To the best of my knowledge, you don't get both.
Or you'll just get one?
Yes.
So the additional you expect to get is half of your pension on the 25th. I mean on the 21st.
Tomorrow.
Okay, dear. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution to the program. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call.
Yes, a blessed good morning. Listening this show, what that nobody will not get here. Good morning, Mr. Edinburgh.
Good morning to you.
I understand that you is the advisor for all the rebel Joe. Me cousin the Prime Minister. But on certain things I agree with you with, and certain things may not agree with you with. So, good program.
That's a reality of life. We will not always 100% agree.
Christmas and New Year. To you and the host.
All right.
And I want to wish you all the best for the season as well, and a happy New Year.
Yes, thank you.
All right, caller. Thank you, and likewise. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call.
Hi, good morning. I wasn't
caller.
listening from the beginning, so I hope I'm not overstepping. I would like to ask Mr. Edinburgh if citizens who are 62 and over and they already got a one-time payment from Social Security, how come they're not entitled to CBI payments and non-nationals getting? My opinion is, if you're a citizen, it's our passport that was selling, saying it's a Nevis people passport. So shouldn't there be some way that the government could include the people who got a one-time payment, so they are no longer a Social Security system, to include them in getting some assistance, since they are citizens, born citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, because non-nationals, people from all over getting. So I think they should be entitled to it. I would like to hear Mr. Edinburgh's opinion on that, please. Thanks.
All right, thank you for your contribution.
And before you take a call, let me give an opinion. It's an important question. And it means that if you got a one-time payment, that Social Security would have said that you did not contribute enough to really spread it over, and so they give you one time. There is a threshold, there's a flooring, rather, on the dividend, there's a flooring, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not sure if it is 26 weeks or
26 weeks.
No, well, that was the flooring for the gift.
Okay.
I am not sure
what it is for the CBI.
For the CBI, and I will go back to that, and at some point I'll respond publicly, maybe on my Facebook, and I would give you the information as well.
Okay.
But there was a flooring, and as long as you're within the flooring and the ceiling, you should receive it. And I understand how she feels, but if you were in the system at all, because we have to use the only entity in St. Kitts and Nevis that has that capability in terms of a database to administer that is Social Security. And so I want to say that I'll ask a question about it, and you're a citizen, and if you think that should be revisited, I will also make that recommendation, but I cannot guarantee you what the outcome would be. But it's a good question and something that I would look into.
Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, fellas. How are you guys doing, man? Good morning to you both.
Good morning. I'm good.
Okay, just a partial clarity, right? Concerning the money that you was just explaining, the 5 and the 8%. So then, therefore, over time, the percentage increase that's coming in January.
Yes.
So over time, St. Kitts will get 18% and Nevis will get 15%, right?
No, you're very wrong about that.
But just give us some clarity. But when Timo had said that he was going to give a 10% in Nevis, Brantley went ahead and gave an extra 5%. Was that correct? So then now that this 8% is coming in St. Kitts, is that going to boost up St. Kitts workers to 18, and then Nevis workers will get 15 over time? Just clarity, that's all. If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. That the Nevis workers, those who work for the Nevis Island Administration, their salaries are administered by Nevis. They went and they structured what they did, and those benefited according to that structure. The possibility is still there for the Premier, whomever it is, to come back 1 year, 2 years from now and say, we will give a particular type of increase, and that would not be applicable to the civil servants who work within the federal administration. And, I don't know about this overtime, you're getting 18. The civil servants under Dr. Harris did not get I don't think to the best of my knowledge, the increase was around the same time. I don't think so. But even though it was agreed, I think in 2020, the increase of 10% was not paid until 2022, June.
So is it that they just got an extra 10% in that moment?
In June, yes, 2022. I wasn't in the service then, but in June 2022, I understand that there was an increase in the service for those who work for the federal government. The law will show, or that it was passed in 2020, but it was not activated until 2022. Somewhere around 2020, between 2019 and 2020. I think it was probably passed in 2019 to be implemented in 2020, and was not implemented until 2022. But the separate accounts, separate administrators in terms of the workers, and they should not be compared in that way.
It's 11:56. Let's see how many more calls we can get in before we close the program at noon. Caller, Good morning.
Hi,
You're on the
Hey,
air.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, I just heard a little piece of his delivery. So how do you register for the 500? Is it going through Social Security? What is it?
Well, if you meet the threshold, well, if you were paid before, you don't have to register. So let me put it that way.
Oh, if you have gotten before.
If you have gotten before, you don't need to register.
Oh, because this is not for the CB, it's not CBI.
It is not. This year it's not a CBI dividend, but Social Security would have had your data, your banking information, etc. And if you pay, if you received before, unless you are living abroad, and it means that you wouldn't qualify because it's for a workers' bonus and it's for persons living in St. Kitts only. Well, St. Kitts and Nevis, sorry, only.
Okay. So if you're unemployed, you'll not be eligible.
No. I think, to the best of my knowledge, again, it is the same criteria that paid the cash gift, and that criteria said that you needed to contribute for a minimum of 26 contribution over your payment history. And to the best of my knowledge, it is the same criteria that is being used.
Okay. Just needed to know, because I like to get it straight from the horse's mouth. I can't deal with a lot of different parts and different parts. I get. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you very much.
And have a good Christmas.
Let's take one more call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devonne. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Thank God for life. Because this is a country, and I believe we live in a blessed country. And I believe we as human beings, as Kittitians especially, we take heed and just love and try to treat one another and share with one another. I believe that we will be one of the best country in the world and the best human being in the world. Now, my little question to you. The Social Security pensioners and the government pensioners, all of them will get the 8% increase?
No, this is government pensioners. It is Social Security will do whatever they're going to do, and in the new year, let me say, in the budget, those who are getting less than 500 as a contributable pension, that has been bumped up to 500. So if you were getting less than $500 per month as a contributory pension, it will go up to 500. And if you were, and then there is there's the other pension, non-contributory pension.
So
I think that went up to
you tell me, if you're getting a full pension, you're qualified to get a full pension?
If you're getting a full pension, no. But Social Security is supposed to be having some conversations with the general public regarding benefits, etc.
Oh, because I thought it was across the board.
No, not at this time.
Social Security pensions. Okay, only that's how I want to know.
Not at this time. Social Security will make those announcements for Social Security.
All right, caller. It is midday. We're going to have to close the program.
As usual.
Any closing comments?
Yes, well, just want to say, it's been a pleasure being with you, Devon. And it looks like we're always going to run out of time. But I look forward to being back. And I just want to say to all Kittitians, I don't celebrate, I don't believe in it in terms of the Christmas thing. I don't. But it is also traditionally and culturally a season of love and giving. And it's our carnival season, so I want to wish everyone a pleasant season, whatever you celebrate at this time of the year. But most importantly, I want to wish you success and prosperity continued into 2024 and beyond. And I look forward to coming back and talking to you, or with you rather, from time to time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edinburgh. This has been the final edition of The Edge for 2023. We're coming back in 2024 on Monday, January 8th. So until next time, you guys stay safe, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year when it comes. Have a good one.